Today I want to talk to you about template emails and short phone calls. Template emails and short phone calls. Now these are two very different tips, but they both serve the same purpose, which is you executing the schedule that you've laid out. So you've decided what's important and what's not important. You've made a block schedule that has those things implemented on it. You've tracked your time, and so you know how you're really spending your time, which hopefully means now you've gone back and adjusted your block schedule, hopefully, right? So that it represents more reality and you have some time wasters in there and things like that to make it realistic, okay? So you have all that stuff in there. Now you're trying to actually execute. So you wake up the next morning and you're like, wow, I got to get stuff done. What do I do? Well, I have found that there are two things that really are going to hamper your ability to perform and get all these things done. The first one is email, and the second one is phone calls. And in the digital age that we live in right now, those are the two biggest ones for work-related stuff. Now, I realize for some of you, you also are spending a huge amount of time on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Snapchat, whatever it might be. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but I think as far as during the course of a normal business day, I really don't believe selling merchant services is going to benefit you very much to spend a lot of time on those platforms. And so I would advise that you just kind of do a moratorium on that during the day, and then maybe in the evening you catch up on stuff, but that's stuff you can do kind of anytime. So during prime prospecting, I'm assuming you're not really doing social media. If you are, I would really challenge your assumption as to how profitable a use of time that is. So let's assume you're not doing that. So the other two big things are going to be emails and phone calls. So let's talk about emails first and how you can manage emails more effectively. And I want to give you two tips about this. The first tip is deal with an email the very first time that you open it. Deal with it to completion, I should say. So deal with an email to completion the first time that you open it. So don't sit down to your email inbox. Don't pull up your emails unless you have time to act on them. Okay? Believe me when I tell you that no one who sent you an email gains any comfort from the fact that you read their email. That doesn't do them any good, okay? They probably wanted you to take some kind of action as it relates to that email. So the fact that you pulled your phone out of your pocket and ruined your train of thought while you were with a merchant so that you could see that somebody sent you an email, that doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do the person who sent you the email any good either. The only thing that does any good is when you take action on a particular email. So make sure that if you're going to look at your email, and again, I do this where I have, 5 minutes. That's fine. I can take care of a lot of things in 5 minutes, right? I might be able to get through 4 or 5 emails in 5 minutes. So I'll pull my phone out, but it's like, I'm going to take action on these emails as soon as I see them, all right? So take action as soon as you see them. When you open that email up, again, we talked about it in earlier videos, decide what is the next action step I should and can take with this email, right? Is it important enough to do anything about it? Right? Or is it not important? Well, then you need to find out, is there anything else you need to do before you can put that in your non-action folder? I literally call it my non-action folder or delete it or whatever. To archive that email, what do you need to do first? Do you need to let them know that you're not able to do it at this time? Or maybe it doesn't even require a response. It was just a for your information email. It's a promotional offer, whatever it is. Just get rid of it quick, move it out of there, right? The things where you're like, I can take action, act on it right now. If you say, well, it's going to take me like an hour, I don't have an hour to do it right now, then either leave it in your email inbox for later in the day when you do have an hour to do it, or decide which day you're going to do it and put it into a folder for that day. So what I do is, if I have something I'm like, wow, I literally cannot do it today. There's just no way because I have to talk to somebody else and they're not in the office till Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going to put that in my Tuesday or Wednesday folder, and then every morning you go into the folder for that day and move everything into your inbox. Start at the top, work your way down, get them out of your inbox and deal with them, right? But what about template emails? So one of the things that you're going to find is that your customers have the same questions over and over and over again. If you have salespeople, they have the same questions over and over and over again. Don't answer the same email over and over again. Instead, use template emails. So whether you're in Google, Gmail, they're called canned responses. Everybody has something like that. Create these email templates that you can use so that whether it's confirming an appointment, you have the confirm appointment thing, and so it already has it there, and then you can just change the name and a few other things. So use template emails. That's going to save you a lot of time with emailing people back. The other thing I'll tell you is short phone calls. When you have phone calls, you really need to think about how you're going to start and end a phone call. The way that I start just about every phone call, many of you, you've called me, you've talked to me before, you will notice that just about every time I'm on the phone with somebody, I start by saying, hey, this is James Shepard. How are you doing today? Great, great. What can I do for you? Start with, what can I do for you? Now, if you're making an outbound call, of course you can't do that, but we're talking about customer service calls. You got to return a call. A customer calls you, hey, I'm having a problem with my terminal. What do I do? Can you call me back? Call them back and don't shoot the breeze for 20 minutes. Call them back and say, hey, I got your message about your terminal. What's going on? How can I help you? Like, get to the action right off the bat. Then the other thing is keep aware or cognizant of the time, and as time is approaching, alert them to that. When you have 1 minute left before your next appointment, say something like, just so you know, and I apologize, I already have another appointment I've got to run to, so I've got about another minute or two to be on the phone. So what else can I help you with today? You got to say something like that to keep those calls short so people know this person's time is valuable. And so I'll even do this, like I'll give you another example. A lot of times at the beginning of a call for me, it'll start to get off track where the person's like one of the things that happens to me a lot, and if you've said this to me, I'm not mad at you or anything, I just don't have time a lot of times. I'll be in a hurry and I've got like 15 back-to-back phone calls and somebody starts off by saying, I'm like, how can I help you? And they're like, well, let me start by telling you a little bit about myself. And I'm always like, oh man, I don't know if I have time to hear about you. I'm probably going to forget when I hang the phone up, anything that you tell me right now, so I'm not sure. So yeah, it's good to have a little context, but I'm like, oh man. So what'll happen is after 5 minutes of that, I've only got 15 minutes. And so after 5 minutes of that, I might have to say something like, wow, I really appreciate you. Hey, hold on 1 second. Let me stop you right there and just tell you, first of all, I really appreciate you taking time to tell me that information. That does give me some context. However, since we do only have 10 minutes left on the call, maybe we could jump into some action steps that you'd like me to take. So sometimes you got to say things like that to kind of get the conversation back on by using that time and saying, well, we only got about 10 minutes left. Let's jump into something actionable. So that's a tip that will really help you to keep your emails as quick as you can by taking action right away, using template emails, and your phone calls, keeping them as short as possible so you can just get to what needs to be done and get it done so you can move on with the rest of your day. Hopefully those tips are going to save you a little bit of time each day, and that's really going to add up.